This is kind of a new thing for me, but one of the things I decided to do this year was try to set up a program where I could share some of my knowledge and information. And uh, not that I, think I'm a know-it-all, but it's that way. Are we seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? And that's one of the things that with all this stuff being stuck at home, are we getting near the end of it? And I know a lot of you are worried about that. I do hope so. This COVID-19 pandemic has forced all of us to worry and to ultimately alter our daily lifestyle. These past few months have pushed us to places we never thought we would ever get into. Our life has changed so much. And I think only our parents probably were the ones that had to go through stuff like this back in World War II, or maybe our grandparents before that, back at the turn of the 20th century. It's just crazy. Currently, we've had to cut ourselves off from our family and our friends and adjust our habits and new lifestyles to what we're doing, and to live without some of the favorite things that we have. And so it does make it a bit of fun, everybody. I've got a few more people popping in here. 1 second. I'm going to try to allow those people to get in. There we go. Hopefully all of them get in. Okay, good. Anyway, how many of you have had that situation now where you've actually been able to get more intimate, or at least share more with family and friends because you're stuck together? Hopefully nobody's killed anybody or got in any fights or arguments, but a lot of us, it's been a little testy at times on some things. So I know that everybody's anxiously awaiting the end of this, and so that we're going to get back to normal. And I hope you'll join me in praying that this virus won't come back strong in the fall, that it will not be a big problem for us, because we're all wanting to have a decent holiday season. We've got families and companies and people that we deal with. And I know some Santas are just volunteer Santas, but I know that some of you do like to do, charity work and such, but a lot of Santas and Mrs. Claus also look for the income that they might be able to get. Boy. Okay, I've got 7, 8 more people coming in here. So we have almost about 80 people on board here tonight. So this is kind of unique. So anyway, I started to say, let's all pray that it's going to be over soon. We are going to have the colds and flu and things like that to deal with. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, because I think that one of the things that we're going to have to do this year is be a little more proactive on the set. It's like all this stuff they've talked about with washing your hands and the masks and stuff. We may not go that far on the masks, but again, hand sanitizing and things like that are probably going to be very important on any of the photo sets and things like that. And I will talk about that a little later this evening. I've been wearing my red suit for over 50 years now. So along the way, I've done just about every Santa job you can think of, worked in just about every Santa occupation, or from the malls to, in shopping centers to the private parties, corporate parties, fancy parties, charity events, all kinds of programs where I've been able to, help with children of special needs and things like that. So I've done all of those things. So hopefully some of my experiences I can share with you. And also I've been through some of the problems. We went through COVID, not COVID-19, but the H1N1. We have some things that we developed during that period that I'm going to talk about a little later. But a lot of Santas have been sending me emails and texts and asking me questions about their worries, their concerns. And hopefully in these little webinars over the next couple of weeks, I can try to answer some of those questions. And even if I don't have the answer, I can look into it. There are people I can call, contacts that I have to try to help you find answers and solutions, okay? Not always going to give you the answer you want, But the thing is to find answers that you will help us with, getting ready for that 2020 Christmas season. And so, as an instructor, I've graduated 4,500 Santas and Mrs. Claus from my school. And I know that some of you think I'm wise and knowledgeable. I don't have all the answers. Okay. I don't think anybody has all the answers, but I know that I can share my experience with you and hopefully help out. Right now, everyone is trying to figure out what is going to happen the holiday season. Okay. And that's not just we Santas and Mrs. Claus. Okay. It's also the malls and the photo companies and the families we visit and all of our clients. I have been calling some of these people, trying to, find out what I can do to help get the answers you need from these families and such. By the way, someone just tried to call me, so I had to hang up on them. But right now, we all have to think about what's going on, and the malls and photo companies and everybody else that we work with and we contract with and things like that. They're all trying to do the same thing. I think everybody wants the world to be, the same this Christmas as it was last Christmas and the Christmas before, and whenever in the past, the history, the tradition that we have. But it's going to change a little. There will be changes, and we're going to have to, cope with that. But I'm hoping that, again, in the next couple of weeks, to give you some ideas of things we can do to handle those situations. Some of the photo companies, you think, well, gee whiz, they're not going to have Santas. Believe me, they want to have Santas. Some of the malls want to have Santa. They want customers. They want the business. They want not just the revenue, but the malls want the attraction of having Santa there. They want things to be the same. They want customers to come in and enjoy themselves and to shop. And when you start making changes and getting rid of Santa and the situation, with the traditional Christmas things, it changes the customers' attitudes. And the malls don't want that. They want people to enjoy themselves. So hopefully there's going to be some things going on. Yes, the photo companies might adjust some things. They might change some things. You as Santa or Mrs. Claus may have to work differently on the set. You might not have kids sitting on your lap this year. You may have to have them sitting in the chair and you standing next to them. All kinds of little things that are different. And we'll talk about, again, those and some techniques and posing and things like that in the weeks ahead, and try to help you a little bit on things that you can do. Okay, I'm going to let some more people in here. Okay, and let me get that taken care of there. It's always fun here. My screen is kind of frozen here. I've got Kent Haygood, Elwood Friend, and John Manis that are kind of stuck right on my screen. So I get to see the three of you right now. And hello, guys. How are you? Anyway, we'll mute everybody here a little bit and get back to my notes and stuff that I'm talking here. Everybody's searching. We're trying to find answers. Okay. So I'm going to share my knowledge and talk about the Christmas season. I have talked to some of the photo companies and tried to find out some things. I've had Santa send me notes and say, well, gee whiz, the photo companies are not going to have Santa anymore. They're going to have Santa. They're going to be cautious. They are going to probably not want to sign ironclad contracts just in case the mall has to pull the plug, because they don't want to be, forced to have a Santa on hold and then have to pay the Santa. So they're going to probably try to write their contracts in such a way that, you've got to wait till the last minute until you know for sure. I hate to have that type of thing happen, but in some cases, that's the way it's going to be with some of these companies and with some of the malls. Okay. So anyway, but I've actually had some of the photo companies contact me searching for Santas. Particularly, these are mostly local jobs. In other words, they want a Santa in the local mall area. So I've only contacted Santas in that area. I'm not sending out notices nationwide because they're not looking for someone from Texas to go to California or things like that. If it's California, they want a Santa in California. If it's Idaho, they want a Santa in Idaho. It's what, that's the way it is right now. But they are searching for Santas and people to work in different locations. I've even had a couple theme parks contact me with regards to Santas to work on some photo operations. And these are, again, they want local people because they use multiple Santas that work just a few hours a day or maybe one day on, one day off, that type of thing. But again, they're looking for Santas. They're planning to have Santa. So that's, to me, that's a positive note that we're going to have Santa working this holiday season, okay? We know it's never going to be the same as it was, but there's going to be things going on. I'm trying to see what my other notes have here. Now, some of you will probably have worries about how to work with your personal clients, your customers, families that you visit. Again, some of them are going to have concerns. Hopefully, you're going to be able to work with them. One of the things we'll talk about in weeks ahead are some of the new programs. In fact, I sent out an email this morning on a company that I'm working with where we're going to be doing a lot of video calls. A lot of Santas are going to probably be doing that this year because families won't have Santa come to their home, but they may have Santa do a video call with the kids. And for many of you who already have customers, and if you can't go visit their home, there's an opportunity where you might be able to do a video call. And we're going to cover things like that in the coming weeks, trying to help you put all these things together. My computer is jingling again, so let me let a few more people in. We're at 90. Wow, that's a nice little group. Okay. I hope I'm not going too fast. I'm jumping around here a little. And again, please be patient with me. The IT elves, they're nowhere to be found. I couldn't find anybody to help me out. So I kind of have to work on everything here on my own. Okay. Let's get back to the notes here again. Strategies. Again, things are not going to work the same. I know that some of you were planning possibly to go to Santa school this summer or some sort of Santa training, whether it's my school or one of the other schools. I know, unfortunately, many of us had to cancel or postpone what we were planning on doing. I'm sorry I had to postpone right now 4 of my schools. Hopefully I can reschedule my Houston and my Raleigh-Durham schools in August. We had a cruise planned, right? We had 80 Santas and wives set to go to the Mediterranean in August, and the whole thing gone because it was all part of the Princess Cruise operation, and Princess has shut down all of their cruises, I think, for the rest of the year. It's just amazing how hard hit the cruise industry was hit. But I have August open now because we're not going to the Mediterranean, and possibly I can do the Houston school and the Raleigh-Durham school one of the weekends during there. I also have a school scheduled for Orlando in July and one in Tucson for September. And the one in Tucson is at the Wyndham Resort where Hayden Sunbloom painted many of his Coca-Cola paintings. And they actually have one of the paintings on display there. So it's kind of like a dude ranch, kind of a little different type of school and everything. But again, those are the things I'm trying to do. Many other schools are trying to do the same thing. I know that Charles W. Howard is still scheduled for the first weekend in October. I believe American Events has their schools. I don't know about Sat Bob's and the others, but I know they're trying to have workshops and training. The brothers Claus and such, all trying to do something to work with the Santas and Mrs. Claus out there. And again, just check their websites or their Facebook pages and see if you can find out some information. And if you're looking for some training, there's training out there available. I'm lucky that last year I got to record my entire school, so I have a home study program that you can get. So, that's available too, things like that. And if not that, there are lots of books, and of course there's the internet, and there's a lot of talking on the internet with your fellow Santas through Facebook and other chat groups. So lots of opportunities there to help you, get ahead. And, like I said, I can tell you certain things here on this little webinar, but you may find that you can converse with other Santas, have chat rooms with other Santas and talk to them and get some ideas and find out things, just by talking to your friends. Sit around the Cracker Barrel, as they say, and find out what is going on. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of notes I had here about meetings and stuff like that. What I was going to discuss was the hotels. I'm having a hard time finding hotels. They now want me to have social distancing in the hotel rooms, which means a room where I used to have 24 Santas, I can only have 8. So now I got to have a bigger room. And if you've seen how the social distancing works with some of these meetings and stuff now, it just doesn't work for training. So that's, again, why I've had to pull the plug on some of my schools and things. Okay. As I said, I've been talking with some of the professionals and some of the other photo companies. A couple of them have told me that they are working on some photo operations. They're looking on some changes too. If they can't have Santa, what are they going to do? So they're looking at those things too. And I think you as Santas need to know that if you are planning to go to a mall and you don't know what's going to happen and you're not hearing anything, you need to keep in touch with your photo company. Keep on top of them, find out what's going on. Some of the photo companies are actually talking to the malls about changing their photo operations to green screen operations, where they will, the photo set, Santa won't be there. They'll insert a Santa into the photo. Or they're going to create sets that are very Christmassy, but there's no Santa there. It's just, a Christmassy type set. So that's going to hurt our industry if that happens. In the meantime, they're still planning on having Santa. That's their number one goal. Their number one goal is to have Santa and to continue the tradition because that's what customers want. The reason they have Santa in the malls, it's not just the fact that they want to do the marketing, not just because the photo companies want to make some money or anything like that. It's a tradition. People expect to see Santa in the mall, and they expect to come and take pictures with Santa. And so they're going to try to have that tradition continued no matter what. The only thing that's going to shut it down is if we have to have some sort of social distancing or the COVID-19 comes back. And that's what we have to pray that it's not going to happen, okay? Just pray it's not going to happen. Just stop here for a second. I've got, again, a few more people that just came in late. And all this work I have to do here to get everybody set up. Okay. There we go. I'm hoping that's working. That's good. Okay, back to, okay. Anyway, they're kind of worried about what's going on. With the company parties and things like that, again, you've got to keep on with your customers, find out what's going on. And we'll talk about some ways you can still be Santa at company parties and practice social distancing. It may be that you're going to have to change the way you do your photos. You may not have everybody sit on your lap, but there are ways to take photos with the families, where they sit in a chair or a bench and you stand to the side or behind them or something like that. But the key thing is you can't be a bump on a log. You can't just stand there and do a cheese type smile. You've got to interact with the people and make it fun. And that's what we'll have to do, even if we can't have them sitting on our lap and taking the traditional pictures. But I'm sure all of you will come up with plans and ideas. You may already have these ideas, or your fellow Santas may have these ideas. You need to share them. This is a time when Santas and Mrs. Claus need to share their ideas with each other. We're not competitors, nobody's going to take anything from you. Share these ideas, because by sharing your ideas, you help everybody else become better at bringing joy to the families and the children, okay? In the remaining time I have today, I want to give you a little insight into some other things I want you to think about for the coming season. And these are things you need to start working on right now so that you're ready for the season. As a group of seniors, we are part of that audience that's most prone to getting this coronavirus or any other type of illness at the holidays. So part of our preparation means that we have to be ready physically, mentally, our condition. So let's talk about your health. That's the rest of the evening. I'm going to talk about your health and what you can do. Your personal health is very important, and I talk about this in my classes. I emphasize it a couple times as I teach, and I always close with a little bit of information about taking care of yourself. Um, I know that we're not supposed to always think about ourselves, okay? Heaven knows my wife is always telling me, it's not about you, okay? But right now, I do want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about your health. I want you to think about taking care of yourself and being in good shape when the season comes. And you need to start now. Okay, you need to start now, making sure that your health is good so that when that season comes, if the flu comes along, if this COVID-19 comes along, you can handle it and you can take care of yourself, okay? We have to stop occasionally. We need to focus and think about ourselves, okay? And these past few months, we've been highly educated on the many aspects of personal hygiene and protecting ourselves from transmitting any of these germs or virus. From washing your hands to wearing masks to the important aspect of wiping down surfaces and keeping all areas and hard surfaces sanitized. And so we have those items also. Now on your health, I want you to think about walking, stretching exercises, getting plenty of sleep. Of course, the same thing your doctor tells you all the time, eat well, eat properly. Try not to eat the wrong things, but try to be in good condition. I don't think you have to be a jock or an athlete, but if you can go walking and doing stretching exercises, or maybe, I think it's the Herbermans have done the Zumba exercises and things like that, or the Richard Simmons, dancing to the oldies type things. Just simple exercises like that, or stretching and moving around, are really great to help you with your balance, to help you with your stamina and dealing with the kids. And I think that's, what you want to do is you want to have good energy. And of course, getting plenty of sleep. Now, getting to the set. Once you're on the set, you want the set to be healthy. You want it to be clean. You want it to be neat. And that's going to happen a lot this year. I think everybody from the Santas and Mrs. Claus all the way up to the malls and the shopping centers and photo companies, everybody's going to be thinking of keeping the set clean. And it's not just because they want it clean. The customers want to make sure. The customers want to be relaxed and comfortable. They want to be assured that where they're taking their children to visit Santa or to visit the mall is a safe environment. Not just safe because you've had a background check and things like that, but safe that, there's a hand sanitizer on the waiting line, that every once in a while, maybe someone takes and wipes down the chair, the Santa chair on the set, or every once in a while, Santa changes his gloves or maybe sprays a little sanitizer on his gloves. Those are things we have to think about. In some cases, they may not want you to wear gloves. A lot of times they want you to be barehanded and use sanitizer all the time. Back when the H1N1 came out in 2009, there was a big discussion on whether we needed to wear our gloves or get rid of our gloves. Well, it was found out that if you have the little spray bottles with the alcohol spray in them, you can spray your gloves and kill most of the germs, so you keep those nice white gloves to wear. Just remember, if the gloves get soiled, get rid of them, get a clean pair of gloves. So I always recommend you have extra gloves around, okay? But we need to be more aware of sanitizing and protecting our work areas. Okay, I heard somebody coming in there. 1 second. Let me get a couple more people admitted there. Okay, I hope I got everybody in there. And back to, I know you guys are probably getting tired of hearing me talk and would like to hear from other Santas, but the webinar is more of a lecture than anything else. Anyway, be more aware of sanitizing, protecting your work areas. Your wardrobe needs to be clean. If you have kids sneezing on you or coughing on you, again, spraying your fur and your suit and things like that, very important to sanitize so that people are not worried that you've got other people's germs on your suit and things like that. By the way, in a survey I did in 2008, I think it was, we found out that 80% of the Santas told us that they are coughed on or sneezed on by a child more than 20 times a day. And I'm talking a child very close to you sneezing right in your face. And this is not good, but this is the personal thing about what we do. So again, we may want to be a little more cautious of how close we hold the kids to us when we're doing something. And maybe the families don't want that either. So again, things are going to change a lot. Make sure you have the liquid hand sanitizers around, the Purell and others that you can rub on your hands. Maybe your customers have to have them. It's good to have them. If you have to set up your own photo set, you need to make insurance for your customers that you have all those things for your photo set wherever you go. If the photo company's setting it up or the mall's setting it up, they're going to take care of those things. They're going to have those types of things on your set for you, okay? Additionally, I think that whatever bench or chair that you sit in should be wiped down periodically with antiseptic wipes. If it's upholstered, maybe the little pump bottles of alcohol-based sprays, just to spray it a little bit. It sanitizes the material. In a mall setting, this should be done throughout the day, minimally whenever you take a break. Someone should wipe the set down. This is not just because you want it wiped down. Customers see this happening, and it gives them comfort and confidence that it's a safe set. And this is very, very important. With company visits, the same care should be taken, exercised to ensure your safety and the safety of clients. So when you're getting ready to work with the clients, ask them what they're going to be doing to make sure that everybody is comfortable with what you're doing. Let them know what you do. One of the things I'm going to work on is I have my little fact sheet, which I have available for Santas to send to their clients about preparing for Santa's visit. I'm going to add a little section in there about preparing, to make sure that everything is a clean, safe area, and that they might want to have sanitizer there available and things like that, In other words, it makes a customer feel happy, makes them feel comfortable and confident that the area is safe, okay? So I will update that handy hint sheet. I'll make it available on my website. And for those of you who have gone to my school, you know that if you go to the school site and you scroll down, there are handy hints and downloadable items from me, from my school. Those are available for anybody who goes to my website. And I will update some of those forms and pages that you can hand to your client. The only thing I ask is they are copyright. So just, you can copy it and send a copy to your client, okay? But it's going to say down at the bottom of it, it's copyrighted by my company, but you can use it, okay? It's not for you to republish in your own book or on your website, but you can hand it out to your clients. And I make that available to anybody who's gone to my school. Additionally, in future sessions like this, I hope to present other information and details on what some of the photo companies are going to do. I have some more details coming up on some of those things. And in fact, I'm hoping in the coming weeks to have some guests join me to talk about some of the things. And I do have a guest set up for next week, and I'll tell you about that just before I leave for the evening. I have a guest who will be with us to talk about something you will all probably be very interested in. Let's see, back to little sanitation and safety on the set. Remember, if you're working in a mall or doing private events, that you have to practice the social distancing. We'll talk about posing. Let's see if I have anything else here. Remember, surf the internet, checking the books. Okay, flu shots. Make sure you get your flu shots this year. Okay, I know some people say I don't need a flu shot. Get it early. So if you do have that situation when you get a flu shot that you feel kind of uncomfortable for a week or so after you get the flu shot, get it anyway. Get it early and get it out of the way, because that's going to protect your system and your antibodies, and that's very, very important. By the way, what I've talked about in regards to walking and stretching exercises and things like that, that helps you build up your immune system too. And that is very important to having good health during the holiday season. and and getting extra sleep too. Okay. If you have questions, I invite you to send me those questions. I haven't really monitored the site tonight to see how many questions might have come in, reactions or input from other people. I do have, I think 9 people have sent me some things. Let's see, I forgot a couple things here. This is from, that's from, I'm going to go up to the top here. Somebody said we were over 100, and then I guess I have to change my system because we hit 100 and we can't have more than 100 on this. So I will change the system next week and we'll get it set up to have a larger group on here. Somebody asked about Houston. My Houston dates, I'm looking at August. I haven't got a weekend yet. What I have to find is a larger meeting room. Currently, the hotel I have only has room. They could occupy 24, but under the new guidelines, I can only have 8 in the classroom. And unfortunately, having only 8 in the classroom doesn't cover what we need, and it doesn't make it fiscally practical to teach a school. So I have to find a hotel that has a bigger room, maybe one that has the rooms with a divider in them, take the divider out, and we can spread the Santas out in the room a little bit more. Santas like more room anyway. We're big guys and we like it comfortable, and it does make it a lot easier. So we'll try to do that. But again, I'm hoping the Houston dates will be in August. Okay. Let's see. That was a Nashville note. Someone, let's see. Someone says he's going to experiment with a beard net, what they use in the grocery store. It's not a perfect mask, but it does provide some protection from the customer. I'm hoping we don't have to have nets and masks and things like that come the holiday season. That is why if it comes to that and we have to be masked, that kind of ruins the whole thing. And I think we would much rather have video conferencing with families where we can look like this than to have, the face mask and everything else. And the same thing, if you had the mask, the kids have to have the mask. So the thing is that nobody wants to buy pictures like that. So it ruins the whole thing. So we have to come up with some other plans to take care of that. Let's cross our fingers, okay, that we don't have to worry about those masks and things like that. And let's see, somebody wants to know if I'll come up to Buffalo, New York. No. Although I am in New York, I would love to come teach up in Buffalo. The problem we have is there are not enough Santas to generate a school up there. And that's the biggest problem. I need to have about a dozen Santas and Mrs. Claus in order to make a school fiscally practical for me to fly somewhere, get a hotel room and a meeting room and all that stuff. So, that makes it a little more difficult. But maybe we can do a little more of this conferencing as the Zoom program develops, or other programs like Zoom. I know some people have told me there's some other things out there that will make it a little more practical. Let's see, I've got 3 new messages that just came in. Let me find those. Let's see. Somebody's talking about a beard snood used in restaurant. I don't know what that is. Like I said, I hope we don't have to cover our beards. Okay, I'm going to end these questions here. But if you want to send me a question for next week, please send it to santa@nationalsanta.com. I'd like it by email. I try to monitor Facebook and all these other social media sites, but sometimes I don't catch all the messages and stuff. So I do appreciate it if you can send it to me by email. But I'll try to monitor all the sites and catch all the questions and see what I can do. If your question is of a personal nature, something you really don't want me to discuss to this body of 100-some Santas and wives, Mrs. Claus, I'd be glad to send you an email back or call you personally and talk about that subject personally and not out in the open with everybody else. But again, okay, someone's asking, do we need to register for next week? No, I sent you the note and it had all the links for all the different weeks. However, please keep an eye on my messages, because if I have to change to a different format to have a larger group, I may have new codes that to sign in for this evening and to allow everybody to be participants with what we're doing. And tell me what you think of what we're doing, you know, what I'm doing. You know, I hope, I'm one of those persons, by the way, you know, you drop a nickel and I'll talk. So hopefully I don't talk too much. I try to give you information that is viable and practical and things like that. Okay, next week, I said I'm going to have a special guest. I'm going to have John Laporto with me. John Laporto is the man who created Talk to Santa. And for some of you out there, Talk to Santa, I don't know how many of you have worked for Talk to Santa, but he's going to talk. There's a couple companies like his that offer video chat where you can actually be paid to do a 6-minute, 5 or 6 minute call with the family and talk to them and be paid for it. And you do it from your home using a camera just like we've got here, something like this, and with a little backdrop behind it. And then you talk to the family as though you're at the North Pole and the children get to visit with you. And so we'll talk about that and let John explain his program. And for those of you who know about the program, why, of course, it'll be kind of neat. And we'll try to answer questions also next week that everybody has. And then in the following weeks, I'll get into more details on things we can do on the set, posing and such when you're going to be working with families, even if it is in a social distancing situation. So, and let's see, do I have a recommendation for verbiage in a contract to protect us and the client from a pandemic? No, I don't. And unfortunately, it's mostly what we call an act of God. I do have some verbiage in my contracts regarding weather and if an event's canceled and that customers should prepare for alternative situations. But if, you know, you're planning an event and the customer's contracted you, I definitely recommend that you have a retainer from the customer. Retainers, not deposits, not down payments, retainer. A retainer is non-refundable and it is yours because you've retained the date. And at least you might have that money in your pocket, even if your event gets canceled, because that's one of the biggest worries we have right now. We could set up all kinds of events for the fall, but what happens if the governor or the president or somebody decides that they have to shut everything down, that we all have to stay home? All of a sudden those parties are gone and you know, we're without. Okay, so again, unfortunately I can't give you a wordage for contract, but we'll look into it. We'll see what kind of wordage we can have in there, you know. But again, in your contract, I definitely think make sure that it says it is a retainer, because a retainer is your insurance that you're holding the date for them. And even if the event does get canceled, you keep the retainer. And that's, you know, at least it helps a little bit. Okay. Let's see, any other questions here that I've missed? Thank you all for all your messages and such. And if you, let's see, if you need to reach me, like I said, my email, santa@nationalsanta.com. And I'm going to do one little thing here at the end here with all my messages and stuff. I'm going to close that, go down here, see, admit all, unmute. Give me a ho!
Oh,
Give me a ho ho!
And we did it.
I put more on us.
Take care of yourselves, keep safe, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday night. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Santa Tim.
Everyone,
Thank you very much.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thanks.
And stay healthy.
keep the twinkle in your eyes all year long.
Thanks, Santa Tim.